Hi guys, welcome back. Leo McCarthy here, spiritual mentor, psychic and medium, Reiki Master, EFT Tapping practitioner, and Shaman. Today, what I want to talk about is balancing your spiritual journey and your relationships. Now, your spiritual journey is yours, and we also have relationships that we're connected to. So, this could be relationships talking about our partner, whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, significant other. This could be relationships to family, could be our parents, could be siblings, could be cousins, could be nieces or nephews. And this also could be friends. And also, because part of our life is working, this also could be our coworkers that are around us as well. And so, what I want to remind you is your spiritual journey is yours. And your spiritual journey is not theirs. And so, as you're going on your spiritual journey, and either you're on it now or you're going through a spiritual awakening, you're trying to navigate sort of your reality. And you're trying to navigate maybe a previous perception of a reality, and you're trying to navigate what your reality is currently. And you may explore things like crystals. You may read books on spirituality. You may listen to podcasts on spirituality. You may attend workshops or events like sound healings or sound baths or drum circles. You might like to go visit crystal shops. You might like to go to other metaphysical shops. But your spiritual journey is kind of like your lifestyle that is an important part of you. And so I want you to think about, if you look at your spiritual journey as being a piece of what is important in your life, to maybe like your partner or family, something that's important in their life is, let's say, sports. Maybe someone is really into football, or they're really into basketball, or they're really into golf, or they're into mixed martial arts. Um, and you may not be into those things. And so, you know, if your partner wants you to, let's say, be involved with something that's important to them, like the sports, you either have an interest in it and you have a choice of tagging along and accompanying them, but you also have a choice, if it's something you're not interested in, that you can allow them the space to enjoy that for themselves, but you don't have to necessarily participate. And that is a choice in setting boundaries. And if you're curious about setting boundaries and maybe why sometimes it's uncomfortable to set boundaries, go back and watch some of my videos on boundaries and why we struggle with those. But what I want you to remember is, just like you have the choice, your partner, your family, your friends, your coworkers also have a choice of whether they want to participate or enjoy or even support your spiritual journey. That is their choice, and that is a boundary that they are entitled to set as well. But what I want you to think about also is your spiritual journey. Part of that is uncovering your authentic self. And it's sort of reframing your identity to maybe who you are becoming. And you don't want to sacrifice who you are becoming and who you are to anybody else. And the same thing goes for your other relationships. They have the right to not sacrifice their own identities, and they don't have to match your identity. And you both can exist, and you both can enjoy a relationship together. Because being unique and being individual is a right, and it allows us to kind of experience life for ourselves and not for someone else. Because if we don't experience life for ourselves and we don't experience our spiritual journey for ourselves, we are not going to learn the life lessons that we are here to learn and grow. And so the same thing goes to your relationships, your partners, your family, your friends, your coworkers. They also have a right to their own growth for whatever that looks like. And if that is not to grow in the same direction as you, they have that right. But it doesn't mean that you can't coexist with them. Now, if someone can support you and not participate, but they can be supportive and encouraging for you. But if someone is trying to stifle your growth, then we're talking about something bigger, and we're talking about going back to the boundaries again and maybe evaluating maybe that relationship. And maybe that involves maybe better and clearer communication with that relationship and expectations. Because a lot of times where people run into trouble with conflicting journeys is there's already an issue with allowing each other to be themselves. And that's where the hurdle is when people struggle on their spiritual journey and either don't have the support or are being stifled or discouraged. It's because this person or this relationship really doesn't know truly who you are. And maybe you are now discovering that you or your identity is someone different than the version of yourself when this relationship started. And so there's a lot of growing pains that happen with this. And the best thing you can do is try to have open communication. And if you can't get the support that you need from your relationships, there's always the choice of finding like-minded people and your other tribe of people that can relate to the things that are part of your spiritual journey that you can enjoy sharing and participating with. And like as an example, like my wife really loves books and she really loves reading, but I'm not so much a reader, but I do enjoy listening to things. So I do like listening to audiobooks. I like listening to podcasts. But she's been reading most of her life, and she's actually part of two book clubs. And I don't need to be part of her book clubs, and I don't need to be reading the books that she's reading, and I don't need to participate in discussions around them. But what comes down to it is a respect that we have for each other in honoring who each other is as a person. And so when we're growing and changing in our own identity from the version of maybe who we were to who we are becoming, this just requires a lot of work, and it requires a lot of communication. And it works on developing maybe new boundaries, maybe new rules, and expectations of each other, so that there is an understanding for each other and what is important for each other. So I'm not saying that if you have a partner that is maybe not supportive of your spiritual journey, that you need to leave them. I'm not saying that you have to stop your spiritual journey. I am just saying it's important to address the real thing that needs attention is communication, expectations, and respect for each other. So I hope this gives you a little food for thought, and I hope you're enjoying your spiritual journey, and keep growing, keep learning, and stay tuned. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this, and we'll talk soon. Bye.